Good morning. Welcome to the Younib Breakfast Show. I'm Peninah Wachera, and I'm so excited that you have decided to kickstart your day with us here today. I hope you're woken up well and you are excited to face your day today. Yeah, for me, I'm really excited for the conversation that we're about to do. And as it is the norm here at the Younib Breakfast Show, let's go straight to the morning bite of the day. Today, we're deep diving on the conversation on stress and stress management. And to help us be able to tackle these conversations are our able psychologists here from the Younib organization. And they're here to inform us on more about the conversation of the day. Yeah? Before actually I allow them to introduce themselves, I'd like to remind you that this show is proudly brought to you by Misio Ashen and Younib organization. And we're trying to reach out to the community to teach you on matters mental health. Remember, if you need any psychological help, you can always call the number 0700 352-250, and our psychologists will be able to help you out here. Remember that if you want to interact with us, or if you have a question, or you want to suggest conversations, you can always do that through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719-144-144. Yeah. So good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys feeling this morning?
Feeling good, feeling fresh. Yeah, ready for this conversation.
Okay.
I'm feeling pumped, really excited to be here. I feel like it's been a minute since we were on the screen.
It really has, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm excited though a bit under the weather, so yeah, hopefully that the conversation will be okay. Yeah.
You'll feel good, don't you worry. Karibuni sana kwenye Younib Breakfast Show. And I know this is home for you guys, so feel at home as usual, yeah? So I'd like you guys to just introduce yourself. Mutembei has told us it's been a minute before we heard your voices, and actually we got to hear what you guys do here specifically. So that's why I want you guys to introduce yourself and to tell us also what you guys do.
Okay, my name is Valentine Ndiwa. Currently, I'm working with the Younib organization as a psychologist. Where we are handling a mental health a mental health program to support youths of age 11 to 34 years. So if you are out there and you are in need of these services, especially if you live within Njagi area, you are welcome to enjoy our services. Our services are absolutely free, just for you to promote your mental well-being. Thank you.
Okay.
Sijabadilisha majina bado. I'm still Muthami. I'm a psychologist with Psychosocial Support Center, and we're here in conjunction with, in partnership with Younib TV to bring awareness to the community around us, be it mental health, wellness practices, just to make sure that the community is well-rounded. And we love the work that we do so far, and we can see great change within the community.
Awesome.
Hi everyone, hi viewers. My name is Beulah Njagi. I am also a mental health facilitator with Psychosocial Support Center, that's PSC for short, where we just strive to create an open space for you to come as you are and explore yourself. And we're really excited to be doing this with Younib organization, where now we are, as Valentine has said, aiming to reach out to the youths within Njagi sub-county to help them figure out their mental health, help them figure out, the challenges that they're experiencing, so that they are able to break out and be fully themselves and thrive in whatever spaces they're in. So yeah, it's been a good run so far. Yeah.
Awesome. And we are really also excited, and we're also happy for the good work you guys are doing. So keep it up, yeah? So let's just start with the conversation. And today, as I said, we are speaking about stress and stress management, yeah? So to start a conversation off, what exactly is stress and how does it really affect our mind and body?
Okay. You have looked this way. So I'll pick it. We can say stress is the body's natural response to a threat. And by threat here, we can broaden it to mean a challenge, a problem, a situation that is feeling like it's, almost beyond your coping abilities. And so it's that feeling that you'll get, how the body will let you know that, okay, this is feeling too big, or this is feeling like a challenge or like a threat, is what we call stress. Yeah. How does it affect our mind and body? Well, as we've said, it's the natural response, right? So it's our bodies, sometimes our emotions, sometimes our behaviors that will actually be able to communicate to us and to others who are observant that we are undergoing stress. So on the level of the body, you will hear a lot of complaints about, aches and pains. I had a lecturer who used to call it Habakule syndrome. Today it's my head, my stomach, my back, my neck. Everything in your body can end up feeling tense. Sometimes you may end up getting sickly to homa to every other week kuna kahoma kana kuja, because your immunity is weakened again because of that stress hormone. At the mental level, you'll notice there's, starting to be difficulty concentrating. You're starting to have some challenges with memory, because things are just gonna disappear too. You'll notice sometimes also kuna irritability, so you're a bit on the edge, or we may need to start working on eggshells around you. Yeah, so just in brief, in like a screenshot, that is what stress looks like.
Okay, awesome. We've gotten to understand what stress is. Yeah. So Mutembei, what are some of the causes of stress in today's world?
As of today, we're living in a very digital age. So first things first is there's the issue of comparing your lifestyle to other people. Unaona mtu alienda coast, wewe hata labda ya cabbage hauna. So it adds on to your stress. There's also, and now with that, there's the social comparison where you look at people your age and you're wondering, why is it that I'm lagging behind? So with that, we also introduce the finances. Sometimes you'll find that the things about the lifestyle that you might desire, you're not able to meet that. So that puts or that adds on to your stress. It could be finances, like we said. It could be school. It could be your marriage. It could be your social circles, really. At this day and age, we are very sensitive. We are a very sensitive community. So even the slightest of an issue or an aspect can spark up an entire conversation or an entire spiral into you translating maybe the challenge into such a big deal. Case in point, let's say we talk about maybe your academics. You feel the need you've always excelled in school, and then now maybe you've joined campus, and then now things are different because nobody's pushing you to go to class. Your lecturers are not coming on time. So everything is a bit challenging, because at the end of the day, what you expected from your high school experience is not what you will find in the university experience. Plus now there's also the culture shock. There's a lot of aspect of what am I supposed to do, and there's not much to guide. There's not a lot of people to guide you through it, because at this point in time, everybody is so focused on acquiring things for themselves that we don't actually pay attention to the people around us. So in this day and age, a lot could stress you, but I feel like majorly it's something to do with society standards and the financial aspect of life.
Okay, wow. I hope we are still following up here. And I'd like to hear from you guys about what stresses you most, and also how do you deal with it as we take this short break. Welcome back. This is still the Younib Breakfast Show, and today we are talking about stress and stress management. Yeah, and before the break, I asked you a question, and I'd like to sample some of your feedback. The first one comes from Lucy Anasema. School stress is killing me. The constant deadlines, exams, and pressure to perform makes me feel like I'm drowning. I usually deal with it by procrastinating, which only makes things worse in the end. I'll sample another one. Work-related stress is my biggest issue. My boss expects too much, and I feel like I can never switch off. I try to manage it by working out in the evening, but sometimes I just binge watch series until 3 a.m. instead of sleeping. I'll sample another one. Kevin says, money stress is real. Bills, responsibilities, and unexpected expenses keep piling up. I try to budget, but when it gets too much, I end up stress eating or overspending on things I don't even need. Thank you for sharing your feedback, and I'll continue sampling as we continue with the conversation today. Yeah. Remember, you can interact with us through our social media platform, Younib_TV on Instagram, Younib Media TV on Facebook, and there's a number on your screen. You can SMS or WhatsApp 0719-144-144. If you need any psychological help, you can always call the number 0700-352-250, and our psychologist will be able to help you out. So, Valentine, can you expound more on maybe some other causes of stress?
Well, I like the feedback that you're getting from your viewers. Just before the break, as Mutembei was giving you some of the causes of stress, I was thinking of the work, like somebody has talked about the work. In their work environment, like their bosses are giving them a lot of pressure, and they are giving them things that they feel like they are not able to do. You see, that's a cause of stress for them. And I also like the fact that our viewers have said that they have a way of coping, but for some it's kind of unhealthy. Well, it may be working, but it's leading to other things. So the other thing that can make, especially as the youth, to be stressed is the lack of skills. And this is this is basically experience. You see, like most of us as youths, maybe because of lack of job, especially in our country, we have so many unemployed youths. And most of them, it's because probably they have studied this course, and you find that in that course, like the job market is limited. So what happens to this person is that it's making them to experience a lot of psychological stress, and they are unable to progress in their life because of the inability or the lack of skills. So that is really what is affecting, especially majority of the youths. And also the fact that I've said it's coming from the school, it's coming from the work. Some of these stresses come from even ourselves. Sometimes we give ourselves so much pressure to the extent that we end up becoming sick. Like Beulah has given like examples of how you know that you psychologically or physically you are a stressed person. Your immunity is affected. Maybe you cannot sleep well at night. Eating also becomes a problem. That is how you are able to know that you are stressed as a person. So there are things within ourselves that we cannot really control, and we find that we usually tend to give ourselves a lot of pressures, and these end up affecting even our psychological well-being. I believe maybe we'll get to talk about the chronic stress that makes us as human beings not being able to function well in our daily activities, be it maybe something as simple as a hygiene, waking up in the morning, washing your face or going to school or going to work is affected. Why? Because of stress. So stress can come, maybe it can come, not necessarily maybe, but sometimes we give ourselves pressure. Like the way Mutembei said, in social media, because we are living in a digital world, you've seen your friend has bought a car, or you've seen your friend has gotten married, and you yourself, you're not married. So what happens? You give yourself that pressure that I should have been married by this age, and that ends up affecting you psychologically, and that is beyond your control. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. I hope we are taking notes here. And before we get to the chronic signs of chronic stress, I'd like to ask Beulah, there's a show we did previously, and I remember you guys mentioning that there's positive, like there's good stress, healthy stress, and harmful stress. So how can we differentiate between healthy stress and harmful stress?
Right, that's a very good question. How that works is you're able to see what that stress is doing to you, right?
Yeah.
So good stress is, let's give an example of, we have like a job interview, right? So there's one person who will get, excited, feel pumped, try put your papers in order, you read up about the company, you practice, let me talk about myself, you do all the preparation. It's a stressful situation, right?
Yeah.
But it's pushing you to do things. You're feeling motivated to do these things that will lead up to success of what is coming as a challenge or as a threat or as a cause of stress, right? Whereas there might be someone else who's preparing for the same interview and they're feeling so overwhelmed, they're feeling like they can't even think on a brain fog, like you can't even say your name and who you are or what you like.
Mm-hmm.
So that person may decide, okay, acha ni watch series, as you've had,
Yeah.
or acha ni lale, and then you wake up tomorrow, your clothes are not even in order, you're just feeling like a mess and you're looking like a mess and it's starting to show, or you're getting those headaches. So you see, it's the exact same situation, but the way these two people have perceived it and the way it's now affecting them is what is giving us a difference. So there's one who has probably maybe built a culture of, how to cope with stress, that now this thing, it's not overwhelming to them. It's actually becoming a source of excitement, a source of motivation, a source of, focus, like they're able to sit down and get things done. Whereas to this other person, it's becoming, a cause for physical pain, maybe with the headaches and things. It's becoming the reason that they cannot focus. Maybe they're losing motivation. Maybe they're experiencing now intense anxiety or they're feeling very afraid. And so now when you look at what that stress is doing to you is when we're able to term, is it good stress? Is it what we call eustress, the good stress, or is it distress, the bad stress?
Okay,
Yeah.
Awesome. And a while ago, actually, Valentine had mentioned about chronic stress. So what is chronic stress?
So what I would define as chronic stress really differs with other people. Just as Beulah has said, we all have our distress tolerance levels across the spectrum. But my definition, and my colleagues feel free to chip in, I feel that my definition of chronic stress would be stress or challenges that feel so overwhelming or so burdening to the point where it really affects or impedes your daily working system. Let's say you're feeling so stressed that you're not able to eat. You're feeling too stressed, you are not able to fall asleep. Just as one of our viewers has said that sometimes they get too stressed and they binge watch. It's not necessarily that they are binge watching because the shows are fun. You might find that sometimes you're insomniac because you're not able to fall asleep. You find that the anxiety comes in because now you need to sleep, but you can't go to sleep. You know that there's a lot of workload that is waiting for you and you don't know where to begin. So now you wake up in the morning, you feel very anxious of how much you're going to get accomplished during the day, to the point where now you start getting, it start affecting your body. You will find that some people tend to either voluntarily or involuntarily purge. So things be it that their bodies are not able to hold any food inside themselves. So unapata mtu ako hapo, they are going about their day, then suddenly they thoughts come into their head. They think about work, they think about their spouses, or whatever stress it is that they're going through, and then they just feel like throwing up. It's not really that they're sick, but it's just that there's so much anxiety, there's so much uncertainty around them that even their body just gets into shock. And as a natural response, you find that the digestion, the digestive tract does not work. You'll find that these, like Beulah had mentioned, you suddenly now you're having unexplained body aches, your stomach is running, your feet are tired. Ushaipata stress mpaka unaumwa na nywele. Unasikia ni kama ukiguza kichwa mahali, your head, even your hair aches. So some of these signs are some things that you can recognize to and then maybe come up to the conclusion that this is not just stress, this is not just distress, this is a bit too much, and I actually need to seek help for whatever it is that I may be going through. I don't know if my colleagues have anything to add to that.
I think Mutembei has well put on what chronic stress is all about. And I think this Beulah had really given a good example of how it affects you. So chronic stress, like he said, is that which affects your daily or your normal functioning. In terms of when you look at your psychological well-being, Beulah had said that you're not able to remember things, or probably you become very anxious. Sometimes you end up experiencing things like panic attacks. Maybe we are just seated here, and then all of a sudden you find that you're not able to breathe properly. Why? Because of the chronic stress. That's the stress that is too much that your body is not able to handle. Because the other thing that our viewers or even ourselves should know about stress is what makes us as human beings keep on pushing in our lives. It is what makes us wake up every day in the morning, go to work or go to school or want to achieve certain things in our life. Like the way Beulah has given us two examples of scenarios whereby there is a job interview and one person is feeling too stressed to the extent that they cannot think, and there is this other person who is feeling very excited. So for this person who is feeling like they are too stressed to a point that they cannot think, it means that they are experiencing chronic stress. Their stress has gone beyond the normal stress level of a human being. So the chronic stress basically is what impairs your judgment in terms of your psychological well-being. And then now in terms of your physical well-being, you'll find that you'll experience things like aches, like the way Mutembei has said here.
Okay, awesome. I hope we are getting to understand more about the signs, the telltale signs that we can see or we can experience that will tell us our body is experiencing chronic stress. Is there any other sign that maybe has been missed?
Yeah, we can just or rather highlight them. So there's what Val had mentioned in terms of unhealthy eating patterns. So you're either losing appetite or solving your problems by eating everything and anything that is available.
Yeah.
As again has been mentioned, sleep. So it could either again go too much or too little, insomnia or hypersomnia. We have behavioral. So you'd notice you're withdrawing, you're socially isolating from others, or there's a tendency for angry outbursts. Remember we talked about the irritability, right? We've talked about the memory, the issues with the memory. We've also talked about the physical symptoms. Sometimes, again, when we're talking about chronic stress, it becomes very on the fence with symptoms of depression, right? And remember, when you talk about depression, we talk about having this set of symptoms for 2 weeks, where it's what you're majorly experiencing for 2 weeks straight, right? So we have lots of interest in things that you used to enjoy. Now you feel like you don't have energy for them. There's that feeling where you're constantly tired or fatigued. Your mood is always tired, We have there's the feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, like there's no future, there's no hope, and that can very easily slide into suicidal ideation coming off of stress. Yeah.
And then maybe just to add one important thing is that because of stress, you might find that you are engaging in risky behaviors. Example, maybe you'll indulge into alcohol, or it could be multiple sexual relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope we are following up with this conversation and we're getting to learn a lot here. As we take this short break, I'd like to know what is the funniest way you've ever reacted to stress. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back. And before the break, I had asked you guys to send your comments when it comes to the funny reactions or your funny reactions to stress. Yeah, and I'll sample some. One, Brian says, I was so stressed about an exam that I started studying my calculator, hoping it will somehow give me answers telepathically. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Kevin says, during a stressful argument, instead of responding, I just started humming the SpongeBob theme song. The other person was so confused, they just walked away. Okay, I'll sample one from Sarah. She says, stress eating is real. I once ate an entire large pizza alone, then got stressed about eating too much. So I ate ice cream to fix the stress. And finally, I'll sample one from Faith, and she says, when I'm stressed, I overthink everything. I replay conversations in my head and imagine worst case scenarios that never actually happen. Yeah. So thank you for your feedback. Keep on sending your feedback and we'll be able to sample if time allows. Yeah. So I'd like to just send this question to you guys. Yeah. What is the most funny reaction that you've reacted to when it comes to stress? Tuanze kwako Mutembei.
Why not tuanze hapo? I feel like mine is a bit childish because I feel like I was going through a lot at that time, and the only reason, didn't have anything in mind that I wanted to do. So the first thing that I saw, I just went for it. I don't know if I should let you guys guess, but it's very childish. So I was at the hub, Karen, and I was just taking a walk, and then I saw a bouncing castle, and I was like, you know what? Twende tukaruke. So nikaruka, nikapiga hizo ma walls, nikapiga nduru yangu yote smart, alafu nikatoka like the child that I was.
Oh, okay, awesome. But after that, we got very relaxed.
Yes, I was feeling, you know what? Yeah, because that way I feel like I got to appease my inner child. Let's just be a child again, forget about the worries of the world, and just be there in that moment. So nikaruka yangu yote, alafu nikatoka. I'm pretty sure the attendant was like, okay. Don't judge.
We look, but we don't judge. Beulah.
Well, okay. I will give it in context of the situation. So you know that period KCP, I think it was KCSE results zimetoka. Kuna expectations, alafu reality kakuja. Na haiku much expectation. So my head told me, here dear girl, this house if you don't get an A, you best find a place to live. So before my parents came or before you start sharing results, I had to call my clothes because they have a magic. So that I start washing them in preparation. Then by the time Ndiwa, excuse me, ma'am, that I'll have clean clothes. But I actually realized that the water calmed me down. And then I was like, whether I've not failed, I've just not gotten an A, but I've not failed. And I won't be, no one is going to chase me away. So it helped in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, they might be funny, but helpful, yeah? Okay, Valentine.
Wow, I think for me, I'm trying to think of a funny situation. I'm not getting any fun, but I believe mine was more of an unhealthy way of coping. Like, I was a child, I remember this day. I love milk. So, and I was living in the village. So I went, the house of my grandmother, and where I was staying, it was not very far. It is just the same compound. So it was at night. And now I went for the milk at my grandmother's place. And now as I was walking, our dog was playing with me, and then my milk fell. So I went and took a shock and hit the dog. I don't think that's funny. I think it's an unhealthy way of coping with stress.
Did the dog survive?
Yeah, it did, but I didn't get the milk eventually, and my shosho was angry. So yeah, it is an unhealthy way of coping. Yeah.
Awesome. And at the end of the day, I wanted us to do this exercise so that we can see that sometimes we have different ways of coping, and managing stress. Sometimes it may be healthy, sometimes it may be unhealthy. But at the end of the day, it's good to choose something that you feel comfortable with. As for the case of Mutembei and Beulah, at least at the end of the day, they felt so nice. Even though it was a bad coping mechanism for Valentine, but I know it was a lesson from there on. You got to understand yourself when it comes to stress management. So this exercise, even as you are at home, keep on asking yourself the funniest thing you've ever done how funny have you ever reacted to stress, and through that you'll get to understand whether you have good coping mechanisms for stress or negative coping mechanism. So because of time, I want us to just take a round of closing remarks, because time is not on our side, from each of you. Please take the shortest time possible. Disclaimer. So let's start with you, Beulah.
Okay, I think I'd just like us to remember that stress is not about what is happening outside, but what happens inside in response to it. So let's go back inside and check how we cope in what happens when that happens. How can we turn that into a healthy way that works? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mutembei.
I would say that we don't have control over the situations that are maybe presented to us in life, but we have power, we have control over the way we choose to react to them. So before you react to something, maybe to a stressor, sit back, analyze the situation, ask yourself, what is this situation trying to teach me? What is it trying to get me to do? As opposed to, it comes, you react, unaharibu maneno.
Okay, awesome. Valentine.
I would say just it's called the ABC model. Like, it's not about the event, but just like Beulah said, it's about your belief system. Your belief system is what will influence the consequence. Consequences is about how you behave due to a stressing situation. So stress is not necessarily that it is negative, but it's about our beliefs and our perceptions towards it. If our perceptions are positive, then the behavior will be positive. But if they are negative, then we'll tend to behave negatively. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I hope you've taken something from this conversation. I hope you've also laughed. Thank you so much, guys, for coming and for actually sharing your reactions. Yeah, they were awesome. And I know we've gotten to learn. Thank you also to our viewers for sharing your comments, for helping us also laugh with you guys and also get to know our coping mechanisms. Yeah. Until next time, do have yourselves a beautiful day ahead. Goodbye.